Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be my legendary rankings tier list, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so spent a lot of time on this the last couple days. I will pull this up here. Yeah, this is something I've been working on and spent a lot more time on than I would like to admit. It was a very daunting task to go through every single legendary and constantly shuffle them around and reorder them and kind of rank them one by one all the way through the list. And but I got it done, and this is kind of my first final version. I plan on keeping it up to date and doing my best to kind of keep it fresh. If there's ever like balancing or patches or things that change in the game, I will try to keep this up to date and current. So that's why I have the last updated thing there. And you can find this down in the video description so that you can look at this whenever you would like. If you pull a legendary or one of your friends does or something and you're curious on what I think about them, then you can pull this up and have it at your fingertips. So yeah, let's kind of go over this. You know, for number one, in my opinion, it used to always be Alcazar. But the more that I play the game, I've just gotten to a point where I think Martyr is ridiculously broken. Let me pull up Martyr here. Sacred Order, I think she's hands down the most valuable legendary in the game to have. A1 is a 45% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense. That's an incredible ability to have on your A1. The A2 is place a 60% increased defense buff and a counterattack buff on all allies for 2 turns, and you can get that down to a 3-turn cooldown with 1 skill book. A3 is attack all enemies, place a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns, and places a provoke debuff for 1 turn. So that's another ridiculous ability. 50% decrease attack is arguably the best debuff in the game. It is so valuable. Like, not only does it help you stay alive, but it's less healing. It's less of a healing burden on your supports, and it's something that is paramount to have in clan boss battles. So again, a huge ability there. And then her aura is an all battles aura, which is always handy to have because it means you can use them anywhere and you can use them in the clan boss. The only auras that affect the clan boss battle are ones that say all battles. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking if an aura works in dungeons, it works for the clan boss, and that is not true. It has to say all battles to work in the clan boss. So she checks that box as well and at least brings something to that fight. Oh, and by the way, she is Spirit, so she's good against Force, which is usually what people struggle with the most because people are usually strongest in the magic affinity. So Martyr is literally check, 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 just checks all the boxes and is incredible. In my opinion, counterattack on all allies is probably the strongest ability in the game. It just has so much synergy and is good in so many different situations that it's almost impossible to properly balance. You know, maybe switch this to counterattack buff on all allies for 1 turn would kind of bring her a little bit more into line, but a counterattack buff on all allies that's almost always permanently active makes her just, oh, and by the way, increase defense by 60%. Let's just throw that in there. But yeah, Martyr is completely broken. So if you have her, congratulations. You are a king of the meta right now, and you should definitely put all of your resources into developing her. Okay, and then let's go over some other quick notes here. So then, after we get past Martyr, we've obviously got the god tier legendaries, in my opinion. Bad Alcazar, a ridiculous all-around support that's kind of useful everywhere. Zavia, same. She's a DPSer, hits really hard, is good against the clan boss. Can use her everywhere. Arbiter, probably the best arena team leader in the game, and is just an amazing support in general. But yeah, so I'll kind of, I don't need to go through all of these one by one. We'd have quite the video on our hand. And what's funny is, you'll see down here in the terrible, we've got War Mother is a pretty infamous one. She's really bomb reliant, and bombs, I think they should be reworked how they scale. I think that the bomb damage should scale with like a combination of HP and attack. Like you'll see some characters have an ability that scales with attack and defense, like Executioner. I think bombs should scale off both attack and HP. That way you can kind of build yourself a lot better to be able to sustain long enough to get value out of bombs. And if that change happened, War Mother would definitely slide up the board. But yeah, anything else I kind of wanted to go over? My highest ranked legendary is actually Foley. So I do have one top 25 legendary. I did crack that boat. Finally, with the fusion, I was able to get Foley. So I know a lot of people were curious because of the event where I would rank Foley, and he came in the number 25 spot after I really sat down for a few hours and analyzed everything. So yeah, also just something I kind of wanted to talk about in general. I feel like legendaries are pretty poorly balanced, in my opinion. I mean, you guys always say I don't criticize Plarium, but I'm just honest all the time. I think most of the time Plarium does a pretty good job. I think they designed a great game, and I am a moderator of theirs, so I love Plarium and all the people I've worked with and talked to. But I do think they don't do everything perfect. I think legendaries are very poorly balanced. In my opinion, it would be pretty easy to jump in and kind of change some numbers and change some multipliers around and make the legendaries a lot more balanced, because like when you pull a legendary, you shouldn't be upset. It's happened to me so many times, like 4 or 5 times I've pulled a legendary and I'm just like dropping my head because I know I can't use them as food, because what if they get buffed someday and now all of a sudden they're good, and now I'm never going to be able to get them again because I sacrificed them. My odds of getting them again is extremely low, so I have to keep them, and now it's just wasting space in my champion vault that I'm never going to use until they buff it. So you pull a bad legendary and you're just like crap, and you shouldn't get that feeling when you pull a legendary. No matter what legendary you pull, you should be happy. Like, every legendary should be usable somewhere. And also, legendary skill books are just like, it's way too much of a burden. Like, you can't spend legendary skill books on a legendary that isn't absolutely top tier, because you're wasting a resource that you only acquire like once or twice a month. And so you're only going to be able to max out like one legendary every 4 to 6 months. I mean, unless you're spending just buku dollars. So you can't afford to spend those books on something that isn't awesome, because then 2 weeks or 3 weeks later you pull Martyr and now you're like, well crap, I don't have the books for her, so I gotta wait 3 or 4 months to max her out. So the way legendaries are designed and how ridiculously hard the legendary books are to come by, I don't think there should be any bad legendaries. I think some of these legendaries down here in the brown and red sections, like, these need to all be looked at and all be kind of reworked to be able to slide up the board so that we can make this yellow section go all the way down to the bottom. I understand there's always going to be legendaries that are better. There's always going to be some excellent and some god tier. But this yellow good bar should go all the way down to the bottom. They should all be usable. But that's just kind of my rant about balance, and hopefully someday, cross your fingers, I'll be able to actually work with them and help out with that stuff. I would love to. I've got over 1,000 hours in the game. I'd love to help them balance these heroes and take input from the community and let them know a good way to kind of balance them and what should get buffed. And I honestly don't think the proper way is to like nerf Martyr. I mean, maybe slightly, but I think the proper way to do it is to buff the bad legendaries. Instead of nerfing the good ones, I think they should buff the bad ones, because like I said, when you pull a legendary, you should be excited. You should be like, wow, my data just got better. Like, let's go. And you should be excited about that. And currently, there's just way too high of a chance that you pull a legendary and you're upset about it. It's happened to me many times, like I said. So, yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think. Click the link, look at the list, and let me know if if obviously you're probably going to have some different opinions, like, hey, Chosen, you know, this person should be lower, this person should be higher. So, you know, and maybe you'll be able to convince me. Maybe you'll be able to convince me to move a hero up and slide others down. So I'll try to keep this updated for a resource for you guys when you or your friends pull legendaries, so that you have something to go to, and we can kind of have fun theory crafting and discussing it. If I get the time, I do have a lot of projects on my plate, but I do want to do this for epics and rares as well, which is going to be a really a really tough project. To rank all the epics, you know, 1 through the bottom, and then all the rares 1 through the bottom would be quite the project. But it's something that I am kicking around the idea of doing. So, you know, stay tuned for that, and hopefully I can get that done at some point. So, yeah, that's gonna kind of do it for this video. I just wanted to kind of, you know, get this tool out there as a legendary ranking thing, so that you can check it out and kind of have a resource to go to where every legendary is individually ranked, instead of just, you know, told, hey, this one's good or this one's bad. I thought it'd be fun to kind of do something like this for the community. So, yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.